So I'm trying to continue this out and quit looping this photograph, but I'm trying to get you guys to understand time, materials, building, all of it in one shot. To show you guys they couldn't have built what they did in the time frame that they had. They only have 30 years. Okay, so Pueblo is definitely key to this with Denver, Colorado Springs, Canyon City, all of it, all the mining towns in Colorado. And when you understand what I'm showing you guys, you're going to realize that our history is way longer than it is because of what they had to go through in order to make all this work. Okay, so like I said, life's mysterious, and where you end up, you just don't know. And sometimes you wonder if God has really a hand in a lot of things. For me, I know my life was, and I know that He directed me to see all of this, understand all this for this day, was to come and show the world of what I figured out and discovered that our history is not what they've told us. Okay, so what I'm trying to help you guys understand is construction. How long does it take to not only build these brick buildings by hand? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see if I can find it. I had it. I know I did. The interior of a home. I believe this one is in Denver, Colorado. But I want you to really honestly look at this. This is a turn of the century home when they were building these in the late 1800s to early 1900s. And look at the woodwork alone, by hand, okay? By hand to build a house, a high quality house. All right, so I'm bringing you a picture of some of these houses that they built in the early 1800s, all by hand. Beautiful homes. And then I want you also to look around. That I figured out how they did this. They spaced things way out, and they anticipated building. And I got to tell you, these guys are geniuses. I mean, everything that I've looked at, these guys, whoever the United States was before it was the United States or the territorial, we were a well coordinated, peaceful country. But then all the wars and pestilence and natural disasters, and then them starting everything on fire because they do like to start fires. Like I said, I'm going to prove into this that history is a lie by what they have told us. I'm going to prove that Canyon or Salida was supposed to have two fires that burned it to the ground, and I'm going to show you where that's false. And so that's what I'm trying to tell you guys is when you're looking at these photographs, the history, you know, for the flag, how would you determine when that is? And I'm going to show you these videos. I don't know what else, how to put these together to make everybody understand it. I have my files that I'm going to show you, but everything in my life that I did, like these underground tours, everything that I paid attention to in history, all added up for me being here. God allowed me to become an electrician and being able to see what I've seen in the world and or travel the United States and build our projects and be a part of it. Okay. And, having that knowledge and that background, you can start to put the pieces together of our history, our building, our quality, because this is the only way you're going to tell the truth. You're going to tell truth by markers in time and tell it by trees, buildings, and everything. I wanted to show you this. This is in Belize. This is one of the pictures I left up on my page. You'll notice the architect is somewhat similar all over the United States, all over the world, and especially with the clock towers. Everywhere you go, there's a clock tower. And so it's really hard to try to, understand and help people understand what it takes to build the materials with horse and wagon, do the electrical, do the plumbing, all by hand tools. No, nothing. And yet our construction is the only industry that's went backwards. And so one of the things I noticed while I was in Belize, all these abandoned resorts, I took a picture of this one. And they're kind of, some of them are themed or whatever, early themed, but they're all abandoned, but yet they're actually beautiful places still that could have been maintained and kept up. But that's what we do is we abandon it and we let it get run down. And then we come back and destroy it and then rebuild it and pat ourselves on the back. And here's the thing about, environmentalist. I'm going to tell you, this is my number one fucking bitch with you guys. You allow us to build and rebuild and not take care of what was all let me give you an idea, okay? I mean, I didn't mean to go on a bitching tangent on this one, okay? But I guess I'm going to go on a bitching tangent on this just for a second. Let me pull up mines real quick. And I I have this all loaded on my deal, but you have to go through the page, Google Drive, in order to get to it. But I just mining in Colorado. Okay, and this is some of the stuff that I'm talking about. The far-fetched story that they presented to us. You know, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but a compression of time has happened and what they've allowed. Because you start off mining with buildings like this in the middle of nowhere. And what I mean by the environmental damage is this: there's nothing wrong with us using the earth to build. That's what God gave us creation for. I mean, God's a creator. He gave us the ability to create. But the environmental impact, though, this stuff will never be recreated. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to harness this and value it. Once you destroy it, it's gone, and that's what they've done. They've they've destroyed the United States. Now I understand my United States. When I was a kid, I loved my country, but I couldn't understand how we let it get destroyed by the 80s. And then nowadays, I'm just like, I don't even know what to tell you. That's what even blows my mind. Is I've met so many people that say that they fight for this country, they believe in this country, and I'm like, okay, well, what have you done for it other than bitched? And that's the truth. But at least the bitchers are doing something, because this is informational warfare now. This isn't your normal war. This never was your normal war, and that's what you guys have to understand, is you have to start working through the lies. Okay, so now that I've kind of gone over that little spiel or whatever, the environment impact, and then I can prove that it's absolutely, when you know what to look for, and it requires reading history. If you want to read through this, but basically that's what I'm trying to help you understand. How to survive in Colorado when you show up in a fucking wagon. I mean, really, could you get any more white trash here without a fucking moving truck? Two men in a fucking truck. But anyway, that's what I'm trying to help you guys understand. They couldn't do anything until they had the railroad. Like nothing. Really nothing at all. And I'm sorry, this isn't my gig. But the only way you're going to learn is you're going to have to read the history. And then once you understand the history and you're looking at the photographs and you're starting to dissect the photographs, you can put time together real easy. That's my new thing, is I'm applying for somebody to give me a job as a historian, because I know what I'm looking for now. And I want to share it with my brothers and sisters of the world, because this could bring peace. But, hey, wishful thinking on a dreamer. But here's the thing: floods, fires, all of it. And then you look at buildings, times, dates, all of it. And you go through this and you read, and there's a little bit different in each story of when things happened. So there's conflicting stories, plus all the wars. So you have to think about all of the devastation that has caused. Not with just physical, but the impact on the humanity that was living at that time. Families, cities, destroyed. So anyway, look when they got the utility companies. And that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. When do they get phones? All of it. And I'm just going to keep making these videos and trying to point all of this out, but it's so much information to gather. I mean, this is me. I'm a gearhead, and this is how, one of the ways that's who you're dealing with. You're dealing with somebody that really understands this stuff. And I was able to put it together and rip history apart. One of the projects I was on, it's in California. The project I was on Blackhawk, and if you go through and look at the old Blackhawk Central City pictures, you're going to see more tree growth now than you did back then. But the other thing is how long is time? How long have we been in the United States? Because I can tell you, photographs don't add up to what they are showing us. And the environmental impact that I mean, what right did these guys have cutting down one of Mother Earth's trees? For what? What did they need the wood for? And if they did need it for something, why do we not have that honored today on our earth? Why is there not a building remembering this tree? But that's how sad we are as a people. We don't realize We are just at each other's throats, and we destroy, and we don't question. What it means to be patriotic is love of one's country. And I want to give you this picture. This is the one I took. Sorry about my camera. It the thing would chew up batteries, and then anytime you reset the batteries, it would change the date always back to that date. But I want you to think about what it'd be like to actually transport materials and then taking basically rocks from way back in the mountains all the way out. Granted, you had horses, but there's only so much you can take in a day. And the beauty of God, and like I said, just coincidence, is this one I actually put in the date. And I'll remember this one because this is this is one of those near-death experiences being up in the high country when the weather turns really quick. I remember feeling lightning, static electricity just all the way up through the back of my neck. And that's all you heard was just lightning and thunder. Wow, you heard thunder, not lightning. Oh man, it's so easy to make mistakes with words, especially when you're trying to explain something. And but that's the thing, guys. This is so hard and so much to input. But these pictures are taken at the exact same spot, basically. Because I don't know if they cut some of this up, but this is down on Larimer Street, and this street is so huge. This is part of where I'm going to show you the cracks in time and everything. And when you start knowing what to look for, the architects and what they were doing at that time in history. So imagine coming from Kansas, because let me pull that up so you guys can get an understanding of this. Google Earth. This is how I was able to put all this together and show and use it as a tool against them. I'll be God's biggest tool. I'll fight for truth like there's nobody's business. It's not like the first time I've been called a tool. But that's just it. Until they got the railroad in this, well, and this is what I'm going to use, is the 70s, 1870s. They couldn't do anything because their modes of transportation were, we'll go back to that picture, were the teams and wagons. And so, like I said, when I put all that, had me, like my whole life's been, I don't know, for some reason I've been always watching this, and now that I've put the puzzle together. You know, Christ said, if you keep asking, it'll be given to you. And so I always kept asking. I could never place history. The only thing I could believe in was the Bible. But even then, some of that wasn't exactly trustworthy either because of mankind. Another picture showing modes of transportation and how they took care of this. And this is supposed to be of Canyon City. And Canyon City's another one where I'm going to be able to go through and destroy it, especially with the history. Lumber. Okay, Colorado, there's not much for lumber. And what you get out of a pine wood, it looks hacky. But in order to import anything until they got the train. And then in my last video, I showed you where there was only 2 trains a day coming into Colorado from the first Rocky Mountain newspaper. Until they got the train, supposedly this is supposed to be a picture off of the real, but it's a model. You can see the model, but it's one of the pictures that I gathered. And so this right here is the only modes of transportation, and there's only so many trains you can stick on a railroad at a time, going back and forth. I mean, I just wanted to show you the size and comparison of what we're working with here, how small this stuff was when they first started out. And so that's the video. That's the video of me putting this together for you and trying to help you guys understand. So I'm going back to this video of Laramie Street in Denver, Colorado with, I know is the time, from history, what I can gather by photographs. Now here's the thing. Think about all the telephone pole lines that are in this. This is out of place, out of time. In Chicago, World Fairs. Here's a picture of what tree growth actually looks like. 40 years. So this will give you an idea of what to look for. And the reason why I went into this one is because I want to show you guys the Chicago World Fair isn't what they said it was. So that's going to be my next video going into it, and I'm going to cover that. So it's just going to be a continuation of me keep trying to help you guys understand and see this. And that's the thing, guys. Use my drive for what they are. Go through the history. Look at it. I'm sorry, this one didn't highlight through. I've been having problems with it. I've been trying to highlight it, put it together for you guys to see, and then some of it doesn't go. And then I also want you to think about this too, because this was the time of corruption in the 1900s. Early Denver routes, like when you read this and you start to see the bullshit between the stories. So I don't know how else to prove this to you than other than trying to explain it, bit by bit, minute by minute, because other than that, trying to have an average person put this together is, well, let's just say, we've been doctored so much by thought and control by our world that we can't even think for ourselves. And when you look at pictures like this doesn't add up. If this is in 1860, when I clearly showed you a picture of what Denver looked like in 1860. When was the light bulb created? How many mass production factories were producing light bulbs at the time? Questions you want to ask. And when I went through all the photographs and I studied and I looked at them, I found so many irregularities with this history. The only problem is I'm trying to show you all of it at once and I can't. So please, show this to people that understand this. And if you're coming into this, please do your research. Don't take my word for it. Don't take anybody's. That's why for you guys to go in and be able to do whatever you want, like for looking wise. There's two folders. There's Colorado State and then the United States. This Colorado State's the newest, and the one was the first one that I worked on. There's over 100 gigabytes of information on this. So please, look, I know it's not the best, but it's a way for us to start figuring it out. See, I even put with stuff that I had. I didn't know what to do with it or figure it out later. But I'll keep building on these and keep cleaning them up. And every day I'll keep putting a video out to show you guys. Colorado State. And this is what I wanted to show you guys, how valuable Colorado was in the earlier years of mining and so forth. Let's see. I don't have it. I didn't save it on this one. But seriously, like when you read the history, like I copied and pasted all of this from all the different websites to give a timeline, a history of one of them anyway. But that's the thing. I can prove on this, and I'll prove it in later videos, where Salida didn't have 2 floods. And you can go in and verify all the pictures that I took by this. So please, I'm I'm just, I don't know what else to do. Pull the pin. Because, it's serious. Like I don't mean to laugh because it is serious. This is our history. This is what they've done to us. And if we don't stand together, it's going to happen again. So for your friends and family and your generations after you, maybe it's time we started working together instead of against.